Hey, buddy.
Hey.
What are we doing?
Well, this is our first little foray into a project that you have dubbed
Dream Drop Long Distance. Obviously based on, if you're a Kingdom Hearts fan, the Dream Drop Distance game in the series. But the name comes from the fact that most of Kyle and I's friendship has stemmed over being long distance. Whether that be, 3 hours or currently
more than 3 hours by plane. Let's just put it that
way. Yeah. We basically lived on opposite sides of the border, or like on opposite side, like borders of Louisiana at the time. So I was closer to Texas and you were right off like Mississippi.
Yeah. Northwest versus Southeast. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was always really interesting. I mean, granted, thank God LAN parties became a thing. Honest, like I will say, as much as I love you, I think that Halo 3 online kept the relationship alive.
Absolutely. God. And the crazy thing is I barely even remember those days.
I know.
I really don't. But it was so critical though to our the friendships that I have today. Mm-hmm. God.
I remember the really vague things. Like the amount of times we played the trash compactor level.
Oh my gosh.
Or duck hunt. Those little things I remember a lot. But outside of, I can't remember all the people we played with. I remember you, maybe Justin occasionally. But yeah, that was always fun. Because I didn't, what I'd go to my dad's maybe once, twice a year, something like that.
Yeah,
so
yeah. I feel like it felt more often than that. It felt like we saw each other more often than that. Yeah.
Can't remember. Well, I guess, do we want to do like a quick little bio and just how we met kind of thing?
Yeah. So I'll start. We are using Kingdom Hearts as a reason to reestablish our friendship and play through it from start to finish, from one to all of the side games, to all of the many, many side games, 3, and maybe who knows after that, by that point, with how long that's going to take. I don't know. But we're taking it slow. We're going to chat through it. And we're playing on critical mode or proud wherever possible.
Yeah.
I'm Kyle. I work for 9 to 5 Google right now, a tech blog. We cover Google stuff, but that's the last thing that I want to talk about because as we're recording this, I am just coming out of hours and hours of covering Google I/O, and that's the last I want to talk about that. I honestly do not remember how old I was when I met Mitch. I do not.
Oh, I can tell you exactly. And because this is one of my favorite stories to tell. So my name is Mitch. I am a cinematographer in the film industry. I know, just completely different. I guess not completely different fields. We're both kind of techie. But Kyle and I met when I think you were 11 and I was 12, I believe is what it was.
I think so. I thought it was closer to 8, but dang, I'm glad.
It might have been. Honestly, it might have been 8 because it was when you were just getting into Boy Scouts.
Cub Scouts, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Cub Scouts. So whatever that age range is. I wasn't in Scouts. I don't know. For those who don't really know us completely, it's a funny story. So my dad used to live next door to Kyle's parents. Apparently, my dad and his dad, funny enough, both named Glenn.
They bonded over that.
Yeah, but we never really hung out together until one of the neighbors had a barbecue. And my dad's like, hey, we're going to go over to this barbecue. I'm like, all right, cool. And we go over there. And I just remember your dad walks in his scout outfit or whatever it was coming from. And you had yours on and they introduced us. And it was immediate. I was kind of
dork.
Hey, what's going on, man? How are you? Da-da-da. And you were just a little kind of quiet, a little bubbly, but kind of quiet kid. And we were trying to figure out, feel each other out. And then I don't remember how it came into talking about it, but we started talking about video games. And you mentioned you playing a game called Kingdom Hearts. And I'm like, whoa. You're playing Kingdom Hearts 2? And you were like, yeah. And we just got to talking about it. And then we realized we both had an Xbox. And we realized we both played Yu-Gi-Oh! And it was just immediate. All right, well, we're best friends now. Shit.
Yeah.
And then, it's so it's who if I would have told my dad, like, I don't know, if like going to that barbecue, I don't know if we'd have really hung out, which is
no, probably
very
not.
sad to think about.
The bad timeline. You think this is the bad timeline some days, but that was the bad timeline for sure.
That's the dark timeline. And yeah, shit, what is it now? That's been, good God, man.
I mean, that game came out in 2002. So
Wow,
I was definitely 8 years old at the time that it came out.
Yeah, I was maybe 9 or 10. And then it's so funny because that game series is one that we both love and is now like transitioned into our very like getting into now like kind of prime adulthood, which I think is hilarious that, you know, we sat for 4 years waiting, being like, oh my God, Kingdom Hearts 2 is never going to come out. This is taking forever. And then the unicorn that is Kingdom Hearts 3. What was it? It's been 15 years. Like people that were kids who played 2 already now have like elementary school kids.
Yeah. Well, the developers know that, and we'll talk about that probably a year from now by the time we actually get around to playing that game. But
I know. But I mean, and then we could also, at some point, we're going to talk about the test trailer for Kingdom Hearts 4 that came out.
Yes. Yeah, well, actually thinking on just because it's going to be so long before we ever get to it. I don't know if you heard about this, but in Kingdom Hearts 3, the entirety of Let It Go is played in a cutscene. Start to finish.
I don't know if I want to play Kingdom Hearts 3 anymore. God, that just sounds torturous.
Right.
Okay, yeah, we'll get around to. I had a feeling as like, there's no way this IP isn't going to get used. And the moment I heard there was a Frozen world, I was like, okay. But we'll dove into that later. But I think for this episode, we were going to start right from the beginning, from that opening piano, those couple of keys, that heartfelt, just like, oh, man, it's crazy. And so it's Kingdom Hearts Final Mix, the OG. And yeah, man, it was kind of weird hearing it, not for the first time, but after, almost 2 decades, and immediately remembering that feeling I got the first time I heard it and being like, this is beautiful.
Right. Such a track. Timeless. Almost as iconic as Simple and Clean itself.
Oh, I don't know about that, but maybe. The fact that song and those songs have, in essence, survived almost 2 decades. It's like people claim that, like, All Star by Smash Mouth is that one that will never die. I don't know, man. This is one where I feel like anybody can jam to it forever.
That's the interesting thing. I heard that Utada played Coachella.
When?
Last month. And some people were treating her like a hot new K-pop act or something like that. Like, Kingdom Hearts and its music is still just like kind of niche in its own way, which is sad.
I mean, but that's any time you get into these, like when they do like video games live, the only people that are going to go to them are people who know video game music. And because like nobody, if you're not a Legend of Zelda fan, like you don't know what the Epona song or like Song of Time, all these other little things like that. Or if you've never played Final Fantasy, like you don't know, I think it's called Tifa's Sorrow. That's like the song that plays whenever Tifa gets killed by Sephiroth and Cloud kind of. You have to be a part of those fan bases to really feel. But that is also, I did not know she was at Coachella. I still wouldn't have gone to Coachella, but I probably would have like tried to tune in or something.
She did like 4 songs from what I could find, which is like weird. Apparently I don't know enough about Coachella if that's like normal to only do 4 songs.
Not really.
To do a 10-minute set. Like,
I mean, she's pretty small. Where is she? Is she Japanese or Korean?
Japanese,
yeah. Japanese? Okay. I was wondering.
Yeah, she was a really big pop star for the day.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, she was, especially when Kingdom Hearts 1 came out. That Simple and Clean was everywhere.
She's only like 10 years older than us. They're only like 10 years older than us.
That's crazy. I guess. But that makes sense. I mean, she was probably 18, 19 when they made the song. So,
yeah.
Wow. That's cool. I wonder if they still get royalties off of that.
Oh, I hope so.
Can
I
you imagine?
hope so.
Like, that'd be wild.
If they can retire on that.
Oh, I bet they can. I would not doubt they are sitting quite well on that song. Especially because they probably had something in their contract where it was set up to, like, per, like, sale of the game. Like, even a
Oh,
little
yeah.
bit. Because what has Kingdom Hearts sold over the years? Millions.
I don't even. Yeah, and they're very particular about their music too. Like
Mhm.
all of the Kingdom Hearts games. I don't know if you saw it in the menus for the HD remix and everything. There's notices in the menus, and when you start the game, like, hey, you can stream this game all you want, but you can't set up a stream that's solely for music.
I did not see that.
Yeah,
Huh.
it's an interesting little tweak, and it makes sense, but it's like. Because, I mean, it's probably because of all the Disney songs in there,
Yeah.
too, that they don't have the same rights to.
No, I mean, yeah, it's all the little background. Like any kind of tune that possibly could be owned by Disney is going to be an immediate to like buy. Like
Yeah.
they're gonna come after you with the full power of the mouse, baby. But let me think. Okay, so past the music. So I released that part of the music. I mean, opening screen. Wow, just Sora sitting there with the flag and the little piece of, I forget what's in his mouth, like a popsicle, not a popsicle stick. It's a piece of flag, a weed or something. I can't remember. But I just remember it was like the moment I saw it, it was like, wow, okay, we're back in it. This is great. I mean, that opening voice of, a scattered dream is a far off memory, or I don't know, like that opening just cloudy nightscape. We can transition now into the absolute masterpiece that is that simple and clean music video that they put together. Still holds up, and I will put that against quite a lot of other openings to video games.
Or just music videos in general. Like,
It really
so
is. It's a good music video.
There's so much 2000s energy happening in that video. Like the way that the text pops up on screen, the
Yeah.
distant memory, like, distant memory popping up in the, oh my God. And the music, like the remix, it had some more 90s vibes than 2000s, but it's just such a bop. Ugh.
Their transitions in that music video are so good. And like him walking to the beach and the water receding back. And I know it's supposed to be like a tsunami, but the wave is only like 4 feet taller than Riku is. But either way, him running towards him and it blowing them both over, but then that transitioning into the water scene, that's just so well done. And I think, at some point he's like flying backwards through the air, but it's like the pixelated, like cut away from that into that. And I don't know. I know it's hard to really explain because this isn't like a visual medium, but there was a team who expertly crafted this sequence to not spoil anything, but to get you very excited about these 3 kids that you don't know and the trip that you're about to go on with them. And it's amazing.
Yeah. It does a better job than a lot of anime intros, which usually do give spoilers of like, oh, here's a character you haven't met yet. Oh, what's Donald and Goofy doing here? Yeah, it was just on the 3 of them.
Yeah.
What I noticed that I don't think I would have noticed as a kid is that it feels like Sora is a lot more desperate to get to Riku than he is to get to Kairi. Like, where he's like, oh, Kairi, cool. Casual walk over. Riku. Wow. He's got to like reach out his hand and try desperately to get Riku. But again, it's like you're saying, it's all establishing the story that's about to unfold.
Yeah. Which I find is funny, and we'll talk about more later, especially in the Destiny Islands bits, where in that I agree. I think you see where he is more focused on reaching out for Riku than Kairi. But I think it's the reverse of that in the actual gameplay. Because I feel like he was more worried about finding her than him at some point. But we'll get into that. But yeah, no, I thought it was really well done. So we get out of that, and he's falling, and you land on the first princess platform.
Yes. Dive into the deep.
dive into the deep. But okay, which item did you keep?
I am going for a magic build. So I
knew you were going to do the Path of the Mystic.
Went Path of the Mystic. I took the staff and gave up the sword.
Okay. Very cool. And then so the shield was the one that was kind of blah. Okay. Now I'm going to let you guess what I picked.
I mean, okay, hang on. Now, I know for sure that you gave up the staff. I'm sure of it.
Oh, you are good.
Positive.
You are good.
Now, it's just a matter of whether you took the sword or the shield, and I feel like you just wanting to get in there and get it over with, you probably picked the sword rather than having more defense.
You are incorrect.
Dang.
Yeah, buddy. No, okay. I decided, I mean, that was good. I do find it funny that we were, like, I knew immediately, I'm like, oh, he's going to pick the staff. No doubt in my mind. But the fact that you were like, you knew me well enough to be like, oh, his staff, Mitch is throwing that in the garbage.
Yeah, just yeet that first thing. I don't know what he's picking, but he's yeeting that first thing right off.
That is out. He does not give a flying fuck. But yeah, what did you think about, I thought the platform designs, the combat is still not terrible.
No, it's better. Okay, so there's two things that are different playing it today than there were when we were playing it as kids.
Okay.
The first is that they lost all of the code to the original Kingdom Hearts.
No,
so they had
I don't believe.
They had to make it from scratch, or basically I want to guess that they rebased it all on Kingdom Hearts 2 code. So that's why there's things like the triangle menu, or the triangle actions are there, where the triangle actions weren't there before. It just showed up it replaced attack. Remember?
I didn't, and not until you said it do I remember that. But yeah, there actually wasn't a separate button. Everything was like the X or the circle button, I think.
Yeah, and it was really confusing, and there were like a lot of extra menus and all that. The other thing that's different, I don't know if you should have noticed this. I'm surprised it wasn't the first thing you said. We're playing this game in 60 frames per second now.
I did notice. I didn't bring it up, but I was like, we definitely are playing it in 60 FPS.
Okay, I'm glad that's the case. I'm glad it's not the case on yours, because I know it's the case on PlayStation 5. I wasn't sure if the 4 had it 60 frames too. It looks nice. It holds up.
I'm pretty sure mine's either way, it looks way crisper than it used to.
Yeah.
Especially in the animatics.
Yeah.
I've noticed that is very clean. I mean, granted, it's the goofiness where, I notice a lot of this where whenever one character has proper face animation, if there's a character kind of off to the side that's not saying anything, they'll just have like the goofy face. Like there's no
that yet. Oh no.
The no emotion face. Look around.
No.
They do it a lot, especially there's some early interactions between Riku, Sora, and Kairi if like Riku's talking sometimes, or like when his actual voice actor is talking, they'll cut over to Sora and his face has no emotion, or is just like that like static smile face. And I don't know why they decided to do that, but they cut between the actual animated faces, and those still aren't bad. They actually hold up pretty good for a game that's 20 years old.
You just accept it for what it is, yeah. If you're not looking for it to be fully animated, I don't know, LA Noir or something like that, you're not going to get that here. Like, that's not what we're looking for. It's cheap dialogue,
Of course. I will say it was fun to hop back in and to honestly see some characters, especially even like the Final Fantasy characters I haven't seen. And like Titus, I was like, yo, what's up?
Or as Waka calls him, Titus or something.
Titus. It's like, no, Waka, no. I couldn't get the girl's name, the one with like the really stiff bob cut.
I thought I wrote it down, but I don't think I wrote it down. She's okay. Did you fight them?
I fought I fought Titus.
Oh, you didn't fight Waka? The Waka fight's fun.
No, I didn't get to fight Waka. I didn't speed run it, but I did, I was more interested in the story this go through than really trying to get a hold and, remember a lot of the stuff that I was doing. So I did pretty much everything but fought Waka, unfortunately. He was the only one I didn't really get around to.
There's a Riku fight, which is hard. Oh my God.
He whooped my ass. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I fought him 20 times or something just to have a win on my record. You know what I mean? I got the one. I got one. And you could fight all three of the other ones. Waka.
Damn it.
Titus.
See, I didn't even know that.
I can't remember the girl's name. I think it's because I haven't played the game that she's from that I can't remember her name. She's not memorable to me. She's not familiar to me. And then on the second day, which we'll get to, but on the second day, you can fight all three of them at once. They gang up on you.
Oh, dude, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
there's so much little stuff on that little island.
Yeah, damn. Okay. I mean, it's so funny because I did not remember the fetch quests that Kairi has you do.
Yeah.
Did not remember that.
It's foreign.
Yeah.
It's so foreign.
Is it weird that the one thing I remembered from that island was the foot race between Riku and Sora to go and he's like, oh yeah, whoever gets back gets to give her that fruit. I'm like, just one of y'all back on her. You both like her. Just somebody suck it up.
Right. Honestly.
Yeah. But I thought that was there was a lot of little things in there. I will say I had no idea where those coconuts were at that she wanted. And after about an hour and a half, I looked it up.
An hour and a half.
I was like, where? I went up every tree on the island. And it was only when I realized somebody was like, you have to hit the tree. I was like, you've got to be shit. And I smacked them. And I was so mad. I was like, it would have done. That's one thing I said, if they would have even shown that there might a little circular thing on the tree to show that these were where coconuts are, that would have been helpful.
Yeah. Or something to indicate why one coconut is better than another coconut. Why do I need the yellow coconuts or the golden coconuts? Why can't I take the brown coconuts? What's wrong with the brown coconuts?
Yeah. Well, there's one, she's looking for a seagull egg. And I'm like, okay, where have I found? And I look up and there's a seagull flying over a tree. I'm like, that is the kind of little thing where I'm like, great, that's clever. I like that. But just to be oh, yeah, you have to figure out you need to hit a tree. It's no, guys, come on, we can do better than that.
Yeah.
What did you think about was there anything in their friendship interactions on the island that you didn't remember?
I didn't remember exactly how much of a prick Riku was. We're calling it High Wind. Whatever.
I know.
The ship is going to be called High Wind. And I watched that little scene so many times because I kept save scrumming. I would just nope, I lost the race again. I got to load it up again. I lost again. I got to load it up again.
Yeah, he is a little bit of a prick in that. I will say I did not remember the Paupu fruit stuff.
Really?
It didn't register. I was like, oh man. I mean, I remembered it very vaguely that I was like, oh, they both liked her, but I didn't remember it, the lengths they were going to try to impress her.
Yeah.
I did remember they were supposed to be going out on a raft. I will say I did not remember, and what still, I guess even now still confused me, was the night where the storm is supposed to be coming in and he sees the dark and he's in a bed, but it's on an opposite island.
Yeah, there are a lot more islands to the Destiny Islands, which is something they sort of establish later, much later.
Sort of. But they're talking about their parents. I'm just like, where did any of this?
Why does Sora never talk about his parents? He clearly has parents that are shown. You ever think about his mom? Sora, dinner's ready.
Yeah, there's a
Sora.
There was a line in there where it was a woman saying Sora's dinner's ready, come on down, and just he's gone.
Yeah,
and it is the only time you have any signifier that he actually has a family.
Yeah, I mean, even later on when he's talking about the things that he misses, he's like, "What about my home, my island?" He never talks about his parents. He's never like, "Oh, mom, I miss my mom." No,
Yeah. Oh.
got over that real quick.
Yeah. Yeah, he does. I don't know. His dad was probably a prick. Who knows? Um, um, okay, let's play a game. 3 things immediately that you were like, oh, that's funny, or like that's something I just don't remember being that campy.
I'm just gonna look at my notes here because I've got 2. I've only got 2,
Okay.
I think.
Okay, that's fine.
The number 1 is the conversation with the brown robe guy. My full respect to the Disney voice actors out there who were responsible for this. I'm sure that there was translation issues and cuts being made, and who knows, right? Actors don't necessarily know what they're what their line means when they're doing in the studio, what have you. Who knows? It's like rewatching old Dragon Ball Z and then watching the same scene in DBZ Kai. It's like, okay, this is way better because Sora is in the middle of a conversation with this brown robe guy, where he's going on about one who knows nothing understands nothing. he's going on. Sora's responding to this guy, and then in the middle of responding to him says, "Huh? Where did you come from?"
I know.
What? You've been talking to this guy. It's I can't. I have to just accept that it was meant to be read a different way and just live with that. But
there was some stuff lost in translation, but I think it adds to a little bit of the cuteness. I guess I don't really know. That's a weird. That was probably one of mine. I will say. I will say my second one being the running animations are so much better than I remember them being. Where there's one particular one I remember where they're both just like hustling, running across the bridge to go meet Kyrie, and they are barely moving. I'm like, why did they not translate? Because they gave them long legs and big feet, and they're like, their legs are just, they're rolling, and they are moving at like half speed the entire way.
It's like a weird mix on Baywatch, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, guys, we had a chance to fix that after we lost the other code. we could have. It's like when you watch Donald run, where his legs kind of flap to the sides. Yeah, but him doing that makes sense because his legs are really short.
And he's a cartoon. You have to accept certain cartoon things are going to happen when you're dealing with a cartoon.
Exactly. But these are supposed to be more like people, I guess.
Yeah.
So that was one I just laughed at it the whole time. Every time they would do a running animation, especially the one where like the race starts, and I don't know if you noticed. So they do like those quick like photo of like a 2-shot of them taking off down the beach or across the cliff, 2-shot of their faces. It's like, it's supposed to be in like this intense race shot, and then it immediately cuts to both of you standing there, and then you actually start running.
Yeah, well, it's a video game hand wave.
I know. It's like, hey, enjoy the magic, man. This is what we could do in 2003 and 2002. But yeah, so good, just classic. Gotta love it.
Another one that stood out to me was just so Mickey Mouse disappears.
Yeah.
They go through the Mickey's castle, or the Disney castle. They show all the goings on at Disney Castle. Mickey's gone. He leaves behind a letter, and he's saying that he needs to find someone with a key.
Mm-hmm.
And my note says, "Find someone with a key," says Keyblade wielder Mickey Mouse. Like, you have one. What do you need Sora for? You are a Keyblade master. Why are you looking for Sora?
Do they establish that he's a Keyblade user from the beginning?
I don't remember, which is what's one of those things you're going to have to hold on to and try to remember at the very ending cutscene.
Yeah, okay. Let's make sure to note that, because I don't know why my brain remembers it being at the end Actually, no, we're not going to go into that. Let's say that they don't establish right now that he is a Keyblade wielder. And so, and I'm just speculating at this point because like my brain is making up this scene where he pops up and shows he's holding one. But
that sounds familiar. I feel like they yeah.
But I don't know if that's true or not. I might be making shit up. So who knows? But I do agree. That is really funny. Also, I want to point out the peak comedy that is Donald going up to the giant door and then pushing through the little door.
The little one. Yes.
Just classic Disney humor. And I thought it was amazing.
Every scene with Donald Duck in it is my favorite scene.
Yeah. Also, dude, the animated scenes between Donald and Goofy still hold up really well. Like Goofy sleeping. Yeah. And also, okay, one note I will give. Goofy's sleeping on a hill covered in iron armor. Donald, rather than just kicking him, hitting him, anything to wake him up, decides to strike him with lightning.
I mean, I imagine that if you're friends with somebody like Goofy for long enough, you just know what needs to be done. It's past that point. Like
but it's like, okay, we're gonna electrocute him to wake him up. It's like, Donald, you got some anger issues, motherfucker. Good God. I mean, everybody knows he has anger issues. But that always cracked me up. It's like, you could have set a fire under his butt. You could have thrown water on him. No. Hit him with a thunderbolt. Hit him with a lightning bolt.
Cartoon violence, very funny. And it also, I think it's the only scene that establishes Donald as a magic user until
later.
Much later on.
So in that way, yeah, all those opening like castle interactions were fantastic. Like the gummy ship scenes, I love. Anything with Chip and Dale, fucking wah.
The gummy ship falling instead of going forward. It kills me.
I did not remember that. Where he's like, that was actually pretty good. He's like, we're gonna blast off, and then it just stalls and drops
down,
and it's just Goofy stuck to the window doing his whole like I
love that your Goofy impression was so loud and probably on point that Discord said, no, I'm canceling that out right now. That's noise, sir.
I mean, probably. Good God. It was funny because I felt like in those scenes, in a way that Riku and Kairi and all them, when somebody wasn't talking, the other people weren't animated as well. Daisy and Minnie are so under emotional compared to Donald and Goofy, and it shows because like their mouths barely move, their eyes barely move.
I'm not really sure why Daisy is in the game.
I don't either. I mean, other than to be like a love interest, and because if Mickey's got two guys watching his back, I guess Minnie has to have somebody too. Yeah,
I don't know, just to bring the full crew, but I never really thought of Daisy as part of the full crew. I mean, I love her character on both in, I don't even know if she has a part later in the game now that I think about it, or like in the other games. I don't know. But I love Daisy as a character in other Disney properties.
I think later on it's Annabelle the cow, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Or she comes up.
That sounds kind of familiar.
She comes up at some point. I might be thinking of the rubber hose black and white level.
Yeah.
In Kingdom Hearts, which still one of my favorite Kingdom Hearts levels of all time.
We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get around.
We're so far away from that. We are taking it very slow.
I know. We are so far away from that.
Yeah. So are you familiar with the final mix in general? Like what final mix means in Kingdom Hearts games?
Nope.
Okay. So what happens is the game releases in Japan, or it used to be. This stopped being the case sometime after 2. But the game releases in Japan. Then it, like usually a couple months or a year later, it releases in the United States with new Disney-sanctioned voice acting. And all English and all that. And then a final mix would be released, which brings some of the new features that come to the US version to the Japan version, and then some additional new features on top of that.
Weird. Okay.
Yeah, and keeps all the English voice acting. For example, there are gummy ship missions, new weapons, new enemies, recolored Heartless. Some of the Heartless won't look the same way that you remember. A new Ansem's Report, a second secret movie.
Secret movie?
Yeah. You know, secret ending.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
That's cool. I also didn't realize there were different color Heartless. They didn't do that in the first game. They were all black.
No, there were some ones with different, like, you know, like the red. Yeah, well, they had more fun with it.
Yeah, okay. So, that's awesome. I didn't realize that. I also didn't realize there were more weapons.
Yeah, I don't even know which ones there are. I'll have to look into that. But additionally, there's also a extremely hard secret boss at the end of the game. Like, very, very hard. And when you see the fight, you will feel familiar. And you, having played through the series, may remember who it is.
If it's the guy that I think it is, he's a very well-known name. And it's at the end of the Hercules.
No,
level.
That was in the...
Oh, it's another guy?
Yeah, that boss was already in the United States version. There is another boss that only made it to Japan.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah. So some spoily oilies for I'm not going to tell anybody at home, but do you know who that is? You may remember who that is.
I do. I mean...
No.
I do not.
Interesting. Well, we'll get there. When we get there, I'll ask you who you think it is at the end of the fight, and we'll figure it out. But yeah, there's a lot of changes that are coming to this, so it's not going to feel exactly the same as you remember it when you played it a long time ago.
I will say, based on those pictures, I've got an idea of who it could be.
Okay.
But I won't make any guesses yet.
Okay.
But no, that's awesome. Yeah, I didn't realize that. That is super cool. So, for anybody listening, so the difference really in the way, like, what I think is going to be an interesting take on this is, like, I played Kingdom Hearts 1 and I played Kingdom Hearts 2, and I tried to play the portable games and just had a hard time with them on the handheld. I don't know. Chain of Memories on the handheld really turned me off. I was not a fan of the card-based system.
Yeah.
But I get what it was, and I think I might be more receptive to it now and to give it a shot, but Kyle has played all of them.
With some minor exceptions, yeah.
Which ones haven't you played?
There was a... to even explain to you what this is, you would need to have played another game that you haven't played. So I don't even know where to start.
Gotcha.
There is a minor game that fits between Kingdom Hearts 2 and 3 that fills in a couple story gaps. Like 2.8.
Like something? Recoded or something?
Nope, not even that one. Nope. Not even talking about that one. That one's just covered by cutscenes on the second disc. No, I'm talking about Final Prologue. It was a game that was released like a year or two before Kingdom Hearts 3 that was only included with a pack that came with Dream Drop Distance.
What is this marketing?
Yeah, I know, right? It's so confusing. So that's why I'm so glad that they have Kingdom Hearts Complete Collection or whatever. It's got everything. You can't get it wrong. Let's just play. That's
awesome. It's insane, but it's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna play through them all. And we're gonna experience this journey together.
Yes. So we've gotten through the Destiny Islands now. At the beginning of Traverse Town. How are you feeling? How are you feeling about the game? How are you feeling?
I mean, I'm excited. The moment I walked in and you see Pluto licking Sora and Goofy and Donald trying to he's like, oh, Pluto went that way. He's like, I don't want to listen to you, and walks away. It's like, Donald, God damn it. Like, do you have to be such a prick? I knew immediately. I remembered that bit because as a kid, I was like, Donald, go that way. And
like yelling at Dora like she's going to do something different.
Yeah. And now I'm just like, Donald, you piece of shit. Like, come on, dude. This is obvious. But it's like, okay, I guess we're gonna have to go do a little quest to find everybody in this town that's like 4 square blocks. I'm excited. Traverse Town was one of my favorite maps in the first and the second game, and there's just a lot of Square Enix love in that area, which I like a lot. And they're, they give a lot in that level, especially for it being just like an opening. Like, this is where the friendship of the three come together, and this is kind of where everything starts to mix. I don't know how are you feeling about it?
Yeah, man, I'm really excited. I'm really excited. I'm having fun watching, knowing what I know at the end, seeing some of the seeds that were planted at the very beginning. Like, do you remember how Kyrie was creating the necklace or the charm? Yeah. So that's important.
I know.
Which is crazy to me. Like man, it's so great going through it again and catching the little things. And honestly, I'm just excited to punch through Traverse Town because it was a good part. It was a good part. And like you said, like the Square Enix-ness of it, because it was an original world rather than something that they had to take inspiration from Disney creation. They were able to just craft something their own. And I think it made it memorable. The music. Yeah. Ugh.
Oh, yeah. The music it's so lo-fi smooth and just like fun, but it introduces you to like what you can start to expect from the worlds that aren't Disney property. And I love that a lot. Yeah.
Well, 3, I guess, but
yeah,
3.
probably.
I think it's 3.
I mean, really, it's like once you get to the ending, also, it's really, there's no Disney music in that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm really stoked to, keep pushing on with this one. And because I'm pretty sure I remember what the first world you go to after this is.
You got me beat. I don't remember.
I want to make a guess.
Go ahead.
I'm trying to think. I'm pretty sure it's either you jump into the Winnie the Pooh book for the first bit.
No.
Just to or it's...
Maybe.
I'm trying to think. Or it's Tarzan.
No, Tarzan doesn't happen for a little while because there's no. It's
later.
It's a little later. I can only remember 2 of I know there's 4 worlds right at the beginning, and I can remember 3 of them because Tarzan's 1, and that's always the 4th one. There's Agrabah, which I think it might be Agrabah first. Maybe
I forgot about Agrabah. Wow. Yeah, it's that. What that?
And Alice in Wonderland.
I forgot about the Alice in Wonderland. When is Hercules?
There we go. Hercules.
There it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So I don't think Hercules is first though, but yeah, it's in there.
No, I knew Hercules was early because they set you up for here's the first fight of the tournament thing you can do.
Come back
but
later.
They establish that as you progress in the game, you can come back and play more and do more.
And that's actually one of the things that we're going to need to do. I'll have to look at the exact requirements for it all, but one of the things we need to do is finish the Hades Cup to unlock the secret movie.
Okay.
We don't need to do a whole lot, thankfully. Like, if we were playing on Standard instead of Proud, thank God we're not. Yep. But if we were playing on Standard, we would need to find all 99 puppies, seal every keyhole. Instead of doing the 99 puppies, we can just finish Hades Cup. And seal every keyhole, including 100 Acre Wood.
Well, that's great. Okay, thank God, because that's a lot.
Yes, it is. I don't feel like spending that much time. I do it, but I'll just rack up the difficulty and not have to do that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, man. Well, I think this is a fun little first episode.
Yeah. So we'll reconvene. You and I will each play through to the end of Traverse Town till we get into the gummy ship.
Yes, I think that is a great starting point for the next bit. Because I feel like at that point, I feel like a lot is about to get introduced.
Yeah, there's a lot of characters that are going to happen, a lot of interactions. I feel like I'm going to be taking twice as many notes as I did.
Oh, yeah, for sure. They throw a lot at you very quick. And then they're just like, go on an adventure. So, well, sick, man. All right, well, we'll jump back in at a later date.
Alrighty, well, it was good chatting. See you next time.
Hey there, Kingdom Hearts fans. Thanks for listening to the episode. Dream Drop Long Distance is hosted by Mitchell Orsino and Kyle Bradshaw, and is produced by Kyle Bradshaw. Our theme music was written and recorded by Alex McLean.